Hello everyone, welcome back to Film Utopia on YouTube, and starting the last of the series here of the Oscar roundup. This one I'll be focusing on the 2010s Oscar winners for Best Picture, and I'm going to go through this list of 10 movies from my preference from 10 to 1. And this one was tough because there's a lot of films in here I did not like very much, but we'll just get into it. Number 10, The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water. I did a Del Toro 10 and 1 for luck list, which you can find on the channel, and this one was like slam bang on the bottom. I just thought this was his most basic and laziest of tropes of work that he had come up with to date. It was just the same old crap from him. I didn't think that the story was particularly compelling. It had a lot of contrivances in it, and it had a lot of supporting cliches of characters, good and bad, and it just bothered me. So it's at the bottom. Number 9 is going to be Green Book, which won in the year after, and Green Book is one that a lot of people dismiss now because like, really, that one? To me it was fine. I like Viggo Mortensen. Mahershala Ali won supporting actor for this. Yeah, people just don't want to talk about it. They're like, not sure about this one and subjects and what have you. And it got compared to Driving Miss Daisy, but instead you got the white guy driving the black guy around instead. So all sorts of racial issues get raised up on with this one. I think especially by Spike Lee, because he went into contention against it with his film Black Klansman at the time, which is a superior film. Green Book is... I haven't watched it again. That's the thing. I haven't watched it again. And if I do watch it again, it will just be because it's on and I've walked into the room. I don't go out and seek this film, so it's low down. What else is low down for my number 8 is 12 Years a Slave. It's just a tough watch. It's certainly not a bad film. It's just a tough watch, and it's not something that I would normally choose to go and watch. So that's why it's low down on my list, just simply because it's not my thing. But is it anyone's thing in that sense? It's like Schindler's List. Do I want to fucking watch it? So it's greedier in that sense from the I want to be entertained perspective. But I fully appreciate it for the effort that got put into making it, and the performances in particular all round are superb in it. So don't let me put you off by saying that it's a bad film. It's really good, and if you're interested in the subject matter, then definitely watch it. Number 7 is Moonlight. Moonlight, which was overshadowed by its almost non-win on Oscar night. I'm not going to go into that, but Moonlight I watched, and again I'm just like, yeah, okay, this is a good film, I guess, but I'm not engaging with it. It wasn't made for me, so I'm going to leave that one there at that. Number 6. Now, this one I have seen a few times, which is The King's Speech, and I remember being angry about it because, while again it's not a bad film, I was just annoyed because it seemed like the obvious choice that people were going to vote for. It's like, oh god, this is just Oscar fodder, and it's certainly more fun than anyone might let on. Jeffrey Rush is a great supporting character in this to Colin Firth's King, and it's largely about the two of them and how they converse with each other, and him opening this guy up so he can learn to talk a little bit better. It does become a bit of a bore for me after a while, but it is good. It is a good film, but there were other things that I had my eye on that year. So number 5 is The Artist. Now, The Artist has also been forgotten about because a black and white film, but largely black and white, silent film as well, should I say. So it stands out for that, but it really hasn't stood the test of time in sense of people still talking about it. I watched it and it was kind of fun, but I've largely forgotten about it. Again, not one that I go out and seek. Hopefully I'll watch it again one day. Not now. At number 4 is Argo. So Ben Affleck directed this. He did not win for Best Director, but he did get the producer credit on this one as well, along with, I think it's Grant Heslov, his partner, and I think maybe someone else. Clooney, I think? Maybe? Yeah. And it's good. It is a good film. But for me, it doesn't run out of steam. It runs out of tension towards the end when his character goes abroad to get these people home safe, and that whole section just kind of seemed a bit sort of predictable. It's like, here's something that's tense for the sake of it being tense, and then it boils down to waiting for a phone to ring to help save the day, and it just seemed a bit pat and cliche. But the rest of it, everything before that, I thought was very interesting. It just relied on a thriller ending to push through the finish line, and I didn't really think it needed that, or if it did need that, it should have been something else that happened, but it's fine. Number 3 is Parasite, and this film is really good. And what was this? This was the first foreign language film that won Best Picture, and richly deserved. It is a superb film, and I highly recommend that most people watch it. This director really knows how to do pretty much everything. Get performances, shoot, edit, get it together. It is a superb, dark little thriller slash horror-y drama. Yeah, Argo was predictable. This one ain't. This one really isn't. You don't know what is going on with this story. It was a great piece of cinema from Korea, and highly recommend it. Number 2 is Birdman. I fucking loved Birdman when I saw it at the cinema, and I've watched it many times. I like the fact that it's kind of like done in one continuous shot from scene to scene, and I like the bouncing around from the different characters. I think Michael Keaton is superb in the lead role. Edward Norton is suitably slimy. Emma Stone is superb. Zach Galifianakis, who I never liked up until this point. It's the moment when a comedic actor does something a bit more serious that I go, oh, good. They've actually got that going on, which is great. So he's good in a supporting role. I love the tempo. I love the energy of it. And again, you don't know where this one's going. So, and wow, does it go a bit balmy at the end. And a richly deserved win. So well done, Birdman. Which makes my number 1, which came out the following year, also starring Michael Keaton, Spotlight. Now, Spotlight, I'm worried that it's going to be one of those films that people forget about, because that same year, there were multiple films. It was a really strong year, but it had some strong contention. And when this one won and other things didn't, I wasn't mad. I saw the sense of it, and I was very, very happy for the film because I'd seen it and I really liked it. And this is one of those talking head dramas, as I like to call them, that I come back to multiple times. I can just put this on and just relax and really, really engage with what's going on. It's such a well scripted film, which I believe was the other Oscar one was screenplay, and then best film. Can't be mad about it. So Spotlight is definitely worth checking out, and let's hope it doesn't descend into forgottenness. So there we go. Okay, so let's just dive right into my choices for the win for each year. So if we go all the way back to 2010, now as I stated on the previous video, when you got to 2009, that's the year that the Academy Awards started to expand the nominees. So instead of 5, you get close to 10, or at least somewhere between 8 and 10. It does fluctuate on some years, but here, I believe we have 10 once again, and that's the list. And The King's Speech was the win. And do I agree with that? Hell no. I'm not going to go through each of these and think what I did or didn't, but I will point out that Inception was definitely a strong movie at the time. Having said that, Inception's actually dropped in my estimation down the years, as evidenced by my chats that I've done in the past on Chris Nolan movies. Inception's still very good, it's still very well made, unbelievably well directed, but definitely not my favourite movie of the year. I'm actually going to give that to the Coen Brothers' True Grit, which I think is a superb Western. It's very funny, it's great drama, again, great character actor work going on here, and Hayley Stanfield, this is her breakout into film. I think she's only 13 or 14 at the time when she filmed this role or made this role, and she's clearly the standout, and she got nominated for a supporting actress role, but it should have been lead actress, right? Yeah, she's superb, and that's saying something when you're going up against people like Jeff Bridges, who is also superb in this. So that is my choice for 2010. 2011, they gave it to a film called The Artist. Now, what's depressing about this year is that you do have less choices on this list. There's only 9. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, did they pick the right one? I don't think they did. But having said that, what else would I pick? And I'm looking at this list and I'm really having trouble, because while I like The Descendants, I didn't think it was that great. I've only gone back to it once, I think, since it came out since it's on streaming. I think the film that I've come back to maybe once or twice is Moneyball, which is very good. But I still remember it's kind of a bit boring in places, but I think on the second watch I liked it a little bit better. But some of it seemed familiar, and yet some of it just kind of seemed okay, that's fine. And yet I find myself picking that as the choice for the year, because the rest of them, Hugo, well, it just gave me a headache. I did not have fun with that one at all. Warhorse was terrible. Tree of Life was Malik back again, and what the hell was he doing with that? Yes, ugh, yeah. So I'm just going to say Moneyball and just say that it was a very, very weak year. 2012 Argo was the winner, but my pick would be Catherine Bigelow's Zero Dark 30. She's back a few years later after The Hurt Locker, and I think this one's even better. I think this film is absolutely superb, so damn right that it got nominated again. I can't remember if she got nominated for directing again, but she fucking better have, because yeah, what a superb piece of work. And it's a fairly strong year as well, looking at that list. You know, some very, very good films this year. Well, I didn't have to look long. Once I got to the bottom and saw Zero Dark 30, I was like, yep, that's the one for the win. 2013 was not quite as strong a year, I think, and 12 Years a Slave won. I'm not a fan of the film. I don't think it's bad by any particular means. It's just not one of those ones where it's about a subject area that is gonna get Academy attention, and I guess rightly so, but not a film I'm particularly interested in seeing again. Dallas Buyers Club was very good, but mainly for its performances. Gravity was pretty good, but mainly for its technical ability. Nebraska was very good, but it was more of a smaller film. Very sweet and funny and stylish, but not quite on best film mode for me. So with that all said, I'm probably going to have to give it to Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street, which was just technically brilliant throughout. It's not about a particularly nice person, of course. Boy, can Scorsese and his team make a movie, right? Can they make a film, and can they make it stand out? Can they make people stand out? And can they make some memorable shit? Oh yeah. 2014 is Birdman. Now, this is a very strong year, and yet I find at least two movies I think on here that are better than Birdman. Boyhood's probably about as good, but I think Whiplash had more of an impact on me. Birdman was great because of its technical ability and the performances. Whiplash really hammered something home that I thought was, just the strong performances, but you come away exhilarated at the end of this film. Yeah, like you've been put through it. And it's superb. I do really like watching it. There's a little bit of a lull in the middle, I guess, but nothing too terrible, but it is great. It's absolutely great. And yeah, I'm giving the win to the Grand Budapest Hotel, which is easily on my best movies of all time list ever. It always climbs every year on that list, and it is phenomenally good. Such an entertaining film, and you can just tell just the thought process that went into it, the design that went into it, with the use of everything from the cinematography, which changes its aspect ratio at least 3 times. You've got the square, and you've got wide, and you've got in between. I think there might have even been a 4th one in there as part of the framing narrative. So kudos for Wes Anderson just thinking along those lines. I always get excited when he has a new movie coming out, mainly because of this one. I like the stuff he'd done before this, in particular the Royal Tenenbaums, but from this one going forward, I'm always dead excited to see what he's got going on, and he always delivers something exciting. But this one was hilarious and brilliant, and 2 main lead performances from Tony Revolori and obviously Mr. Ralph Fiennes. 2015 Spotlight was the winner, and this is another pretty strong year, I have to say. A pretty strong year looking at some of those. Again, a sort of shorter list, so you only have 8 here on this year. The Martian was very good, but well, come on, I'm not going to delay any further. My choice is obviously Mad Max Fury Road. It's one of my favourite movies. It's one of my favourite action movies of all time, and it is just fantastic. It got all the credit it deserved, but it deserved even more, and that was the Oscars that it didn't win, namely for director, but certainly for best film as well. So well done, Mad Max Fury Road. 2016 Moonlight won. This is that year when everything went to shit. Yeah, Moonlight and La La Land. And you know what? I couldn't care less about either of them. I much preferred the film Arrival, which Denis Villeneuve film, which was superb. Very soul-crushing, very heartening film. Yes, it's and as a science fiction, just with ideas, it is absolutely superb and beautiful to look at. But my choice is actually going to go to Hacksaw Ridge, and that's mainly because I watched it recently. I think if I watch Arrival again, I'll probably put it back on top. But Hacksaw Ridge, I literally watched in the last couple of weeks, and was really taken with how strong that film is. And again, as I've said on a previous video when I was talking about Gibson's win for Braveheart, he really knows how to tell a story really well. Yes, love me a bit of that. So that's my choice for 2016. 2017 makes me a bit sad because it's a year where I'm just like, don't care. Just going down the list, Yeah, Darkest Hour, yeah, that's Oscar fodder, don't care. Dunkirk, I really didn't care for that. Great Get Out was fine, but for me it was just a fine thriller. Yeah, The Post, no thanks. Call Me By Your Name was very good, I'll give that points, but I'm going to give it to Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This is the McDonough movie, and Frances McDormand, no stranger to the Oscars herself, got the Oscar for this. Yeah, this one was very good. But again, not a strong year, but I'm giving it to that. 2018, Green Book won. Yeah, what do you say? But again, it's a year where I'm sort of torn. I'm actually a bit stuck because, while Green Book certainly shouldn't have won, BlacKkKlansman was better, but again, I don't think it was the perfect Spike Lee movie. The Favourite was very good, but I actually got quite annoyed by the lead performance in it, even though she won the Oscar. I thought the supporting actors were way much better, especially Rachel Weisz. Bohemian Rhapsody is obviously very enjoyable, but it's obviously very, very, very historically inaccurate. But then again, aren't they all? And then you've got A Star Is Born, which was a delightful film, I have to say, but just not the kind of thing that I'm likely to watch ever again. So I'm going to chicken out and call a tie between those four. So you pick one. 2019, we come to a close with a much, much happier ending, because I think for the first time this decade, I agree with the Academy. I think they picked the right one, which is the film Parasite. Parasite is really strong filmmaking. It really is, and it should be proof that if you put it on and you discover that it's a subtitled movie and you don't like that sort of thing, just bear with it and watch where it goes, because it is visually stimulating, and it doesn't take long to like this film. It really doesn't, and you won't predict where it's going if you haven't seen it. So definitely check out Parasite. And that's it. We're done for the 2010s. So that's it for now. I thought I'd do that little series just for the Oscars. If it's successful, then I'll come back and do more on other categories at a future date. But we'll be back probably next week with a video on something completely different. So look forward to seeing you then, and do like and subscribe if you will, please. It does help us out. It lets us know that we're getting something right if you do like it. So it takes 2 seconds to just go click that little button there, and if you do like us, then follow us too, and then you'll see what else we've got coming up. Thank you and goodbye.